Hi, I'm Sheilaa Hite, world-class astrologer, tarot master, spellcaster, medium, and all-around magical being. And I'm coming to you today from Cairo, Egypt. Yes, there are no pyramids in the background, but that is because it's nearly midnight here. So let us continue. After telling you that I'm in Cairo, I want to let you know it's a very wonderful and wonderfully intense place to be. And it's also the start of a wonderful, wonderfully intense week. So, good choice of locations on my part. So on Tuesday, what we're going to have is the planet Mercury, the planet of intellect, the planet of communication. We're going to have that entering the practical, responsible, sometimes stodgy sign of Capricorn. But sometimes we need that stodginess. Everything can't be super exciting and always on the go. We need that time to look at the value of something, to work with the value of that something, and to take responsibility for maturing that something. So that goes to thoughts, that goes especially to the relationships that you're involved in, and it goes really especially to the relationship that you're involved in with yourself. It is a time to think more practically and to think practically about your life and what you want it to reflect, the values you want your life to reflect. In other words, what did you spend your precious life on? The next thing we're going to look at is on Wednesday, we have the full moon in Gemini. That means that the sun is in Sagittarius. The sun is the life force. The moon, which is our emotional being, is in the sign of Gemini. So Sagittarius is all over the place and sometimes in some pretty wonderful ways. And Gemini is all over the place, especially sometimes in some really wonderful ways. Well, now you've got Sun in Sagittarius, opposition, Moon in Gemini. So opposition does not necessarily mean they're at odds with each other. It does mean that they are perhaps facing each other, perhaps establishing a line of communication, which is something to remember as we move up to and through Mercury, not Mercury, but the full moon in Sagittarius, always looking for other viewpoints, and not the full moon in Sag, but the sun in Sagittarius, which is a part of the full moon, always looking for another perspective, and then the moon, the full moon in Gemini, and always willing to test out a new perspective. So you've got looking for a new source and you've got testing out the source. So what that means is this week, let's not jump to any conclusions, especially since you've got Mercury in Capricorn. Let's take everything slowly. Let's take it and see what its value is in the moment. As you do that, you are less likely to have something to clean up or apologize for. On Saturday, we've got a really interesting planet, the planet Venus. Venus rules relationships, it rules balance, it rules women, it rules healing, it rules money, it rules value, especially self-value. We've got that Venus entering the sign of Capricorn. So it's going to join Mercury, the way we think, the way we gather and process information, the way we communicate. So the way we communicate, the way we think, and the way we feel, and the way we express those feelings, those are going to be in the conservative sign of Capricorn. And conservative doesn't mean no fun. Conservative really means, in this case, what is your foundation, and what is the value of what you're up to, and what is the cost? Because Capricorn is ruled by the planet Saturn, that says there is always a cost. What is the cost of what you're up to? Then what we have after that is on Saturday, I believe, yes, it is Saturday. Nope, it's Friday. We've got Venus in the sign of Sagittarius making a square to Jupiter in Pisces. So if it's Venus, which is called a benefic, something beneficial, and Jupiter, another benefic, so if they're making a frictional aspect to each other, it can't really be that hard or that bad. What we have to watch out for with Venus square Jupiter is that we don't over-exaggerate our exaggerations. We don't make something bigger than it already is. Venus being values, let's keep our value system down to earth. Let's keep the way we determine whether or not something is worthwhile to us in a manageable way, because otherwise you're painting on the sky. And that literally is as ridiculous as it sounds. You're painting on the sky. And you're making things up and hoping they stick. And what you have to do is, when anything goes into Capricorn, you have to see where your feet are planted. You have to perhaps wear ankle weights to help those feet stay planted. And you have to put one foot in front of the other. This is not a time to go racing about. So with Venus square Jupiter, not a time to go racing about. With Mercury and Venus in Capricorn, not a time to go racing about. With the full moon, the sun in Sagittarius, opposition, the moon in Gemini, which, by the way, that moon in Gemini, that's opposition, the sun in Sagittarius, is also the moon in Gemini conjunct Mercury, not Mercury, but Mars, how we get things done. So emotionally, the moon, the full moon, in Gemini, a lot of thought, a lot of communication, conjunct together with Mars. We need to be careful about what we think and how we feel and how we let those thoughts and those feelings, how much energy we give them, and how tight or loose we are on the reins of those feelings. Because if we're not careful, we can have all of those horses dragging us off to, as I said before, dragging us off to something that's going to require a lot of cleanup. A lot of cleanup can be avoided by just taking it a step at a time. We're entering an exciting period of the year. It's holiday season, which means it's emotional season. So let your emotions take a back seat to the practical part of you. And on that note, I say good night, and we'll speak with you again also from Cairo. Take care this week. Bye.